everybody, and welcome to the Scott Show. This is going to be the second time I will do wrestling commentary for a wrestling show. It's going to be really awesome. We got the Great American Bash coming up in June of 1992, and that is what I'm seeing right now on the WWE Network as we are at the Clash of the Champions, and it's XIX, so it looks like it's 19. So we have a great show, a great match here today between Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Bam Bam Gordy as they will be facing off against Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers. Check it out in your Google machine if you do have an opportunity to do such. If you have the network, you guys can go to 1 hour and 33 minutes of Clash of the Champions 19 and check it out. As right now I am staring at the Great American Bash setup thing, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go live. We're going to hit play. We're not going live. We are live, actually, out to everybody so they can listen to this live, because I don't tape anything. I might start, but who knows whenever I do that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to hit play. It's at 1:33:05. Like I said, I see a Great American Bash link to it. And this is the match that is part of the NWA World Tag Team Championship Tournament between Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Bam Bam Gordy and the Steiner brothers. Hopefully, this will be as awesome as the one yesterday. Hit play now. Alright, and as we see, the Great American Bash is coming up, and it's July 12th, 1992. We might cover that sometime in the very near future. They do crown the new champion that's there for the NWA Tag Team Championships. WCW having a little bit of fun here. I do not know where the event is being held. I wish I did, actually. But that's cool anyway. And here come Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams. They're actually representing Japan, as they were a big team over there at the time. And they actually were known as the Miracle Violence Connection. Dr. Death Steve Williams from Oklahoma. Terry Bam Bam Gordy, of course, from Bad Street, USA, Atlanta, Georgia, which I will be actually visiting soon, so that would be pretty awesome. They come to the ring together sporting black and their outfits, of course, letting people know that they are actually supporting the great country of Japan. Big shout out to all of our Japanese listeners. And here we have from the University of Ann Arbor, Michigan, we have Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers, the dog-faced gremlin, and definitely not Big Papa Pump. So if you were thinking, hey, holler if you hear him, no, that's not the Scott Steiner that you're seeing right now. But this is the Scott Steiner with the non-blonde Scott, the brunette, long hair, mullet Scott Steiner. The not crazy muscled Mr. Steiner. Pee Wee Anderson Randy Anderson calling the match as the referee. Tony Schiavone on commentary. Of course, it is muted, so I can do the commentary for this match. We start out with Gordy and Rick Steiner, both accomplished amateur wrestler and athletes. Here is a takedown. Steiner on top of him as they go into the rope, and Anderson calling for the break. All right. This is quite an interesting match. Terry Bam Bam Gordy, a little taller than Rick Steiner, but definitely showing his wrestling ability anyway. And they are tied up on the ropes, and Anderson's calling for the break, and they're just trying to feel each other out right now. If you guys are watching this, Gordy with the single leg grab, and Steiner on top of him, and they go to rope again. Third rope break. As they get a little frustrated with each other. Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Bad Street, USA. And a single leg takedown by Rick Steiner. Gordy to the rope one more time. And a break. Hesitated break right there by Rick Steiner on Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Alright, so they're still feeling on. There's the lockup. Headlock. Single leg. And he's holding up the leg, kind of hopping, and just nails him with the forearm. Gets him down, got that leg. Got him up in the air, and looks like a wheelbarrow thing. He goes to the rope, and rope break. Anderson calls for it. And he holds on to the leg as long as he could, folks. If you are watching on the network, that was actually pretty entertaining. Alright, you kind of, like I said, feeling each other out, trying to get each other tired, worn out. And tag, this Scott Steiner, not Big Papa Pump, but definitely pre-Papa Pump Scott Steiner, who looks phenomenal, by the way. I mean, he's looking good. It looks like he's got Gordy in kind of a bear hug sort of position here. He's using his muscles. He still was a very strong man. Flips him over. 1, 2. Steiner uses those legs, those big muscular legs of his, to power out of the pinfall. Gordy right on top of him. He's still got that lock on there. And, oh, it just fell right back on Steiner. That looked like it hurt. Steiner still got the lock on him. Now it looks like you're going to a suplex. A T-bone suplex from Scott Steiner to Terry Gordy. And here comes Dr. Death. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, the man from Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner. And he's just looking like he's ready for a fight. One of the toughest guys I've heard in pro wrestling. This is back in 92, and these guys were unstoppable. Single leg takedown by Dr. Death, Steve Williams onto Scott Steiner. There are a lot of amateur moves. A little rolling going on there as he goes to the rope. And Anderson calls for the break, but Dr. Death, let's go. Alright, folks. Now, I don't want to give you too much dead air. I am trying to enjoy this match at the same time as watch it. And Dr. Death throws him down with a very amateurish wrestling throw. It's a very amateur style match. I mean, these guys are really hitting the mat a lot. A lot of moves where you're just kind of looking, and it looks like Steiner's got him locked up in some sort of abdominal stretch. Dr. Death is feeling the pain. He's trying to lock the arms, but he can't because Dr. Death is so huge that you just can't do it. And the break. There you go. And Dr. Death looking very menacing. I would not want to see that man on the other side of the ring with me. As you have all four competitors in the ring right now. And Randy Anderson trying to call the action. And there you go. So, here we go. We still got Scott Steiner and Dr. Death, Steve Williams in the ring right now. As you have the lockup and the tag to Rick Steiner. Dr. Death and Rick Steiner facing off against each other. This will be very fun. And suplex, belly-to-belly suplex from Rick Steiner onto Dr. Death, Steve Williams. As he goes out. Hurt his back a little. That just, it looked bad, folks. It looked bad for Dr. Death right there, but it was a phenomenal looking suplex. You forget how great the Steiners were sometimes. And they do make their pose where Scott's above him and the dog-faced gremlin is barking. Here you have Dr. Death back in the ring. Very, looking around the situation. Getting it done. As we go to, oh goodness, folks. This is only the second time I've ever called commentary. And they headlock from Dr. Death, Steve Williams onto Rick Steiner. Lots of, like I said, amateurish moves. Weird kind of match when you see two brawlers like Gordy and Williams trying to wrestle the Steiner. And a little push before the break. Steiner did not like that. And he's like, let's go. And so they're getting ready to go to battle, kind of feeling each other out. Headlock by Dr. Death, and looked like a DDT, but it wasn't. He just fell back in the headlock, didn't get him in the DDT. He got him in a forearm. Steiner hit Dr. Death with a really vicious forearm. Goes against the turnbuckle and slapped the bejesus out of him. And Steiner takes him down with a double leg takedown. Just laying the punches into Steiner. And Randy Anderson, the referee, is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And Dr. Death on top of Scott Steiner, or Rick Steiner right now, as it's a very amateurish wrestling match. It's very interesting. I'm excited to see this match after so many years. Ow! Dr. Death lays Rick Steiner out with a lariat. Oh my god. He flipped like twice. If you guys got to see this on the network, that was cringeworthy work right there. As you see that clothesline. And here comes Terry Bam Bam Gordy with the clothesline. And 1, 2, and 2 count. On to the referee Randy Pee-wee Anderson. As you get Bam Bam Terry Gordy hitting with some punches against the turnbuckle onto the dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner. And here you have the Irish whip and a clothesline at the turnbuckle by Terry Bam Bam Gordy onto Rick Steiner. You got another whip. And suplex by belly-to-belly suplex by Rick Steiner onto Bam Bam Gordy. He's looking for the hot tag. I did, of course, post Tony Schiavone on here. He gets the hot tag from Scott Steiner. Irish whip to the rope and flips Terry Bam Bam Gordy over. Hits him with the clothesline. That was quite an interesting clothesline right there. And then he hooks him up for the power bomb. And he hits Dr. Death. Terry Bam Bam Gordy kind of feeling it right now with that power bomb. And he misses the drop kick. And here you have Terry Bam Bam Gordy ready to hook up the single leg crab into the STF. Scott Steiner in the STF. Terry Bam Bam Gordy. He hit the ropes, but he let go. He couldn't quite hold on. And Randy Anderson tells Rick Steiner to go back into his cage. You have Scott Steiner, and he did not give up to the STF. So the hold is broken now. Terry Bam Bam Gordy in control over Scott Steiner. Steiner came in with a ball of fire. And that looked innovative. So Gordy dropped Steiner onto Williams' knee. I don't care how fake you guys think wrestling is. That just looked mean. Oof. Right on the ribs. So now he doesn't have ribs, he has riblets. Okay, so Dr. Death Steve Williams picks up Scott Steiner. For the backbreaker. On the knee backbreaker. Pinfall 1, 2, no. That was a 2 count. This is for the NWA World Tag Team Championship Tournament. I believe this is the quarterfinals. And single leg takedown by Dr. Death Steve Williams, tagging in Terry Bam Bam Gordy. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, favorite teams was the Freebirds. And then, of course, Gordy went on to team with Dr. Death as the Miracle Violence Connection. Running power slam by the big man from Bad Street. They're just decimating the Steiners, and he works on that knee some more. I think there might be some issues with that knee of Scott Steiner. He puts him into a leg lock. It's just a single leg lock. Now, I know people are used to the figure 4, but this is more of an amateurish kind of move if you're going to take somebody down. And definitely a submission style move if you're going to do that. He's trying to reach for the tag, trying to reach for his brother. He cannot reach his brother. And Terry Bam Bam Gordy unleashes the lock. So he still has a hold of the leg, but he does not have Oh, and I think he might have pulled it out of socket or something. He does tag into the Dr. Death. Whip to the ropes and double clothesline onto the Steiner. Onto Scott Steiner. And 1, 2 count by Randy Anderson. That was Dr. Death pinning Scott Steiner, but only for 2 count. Alright, folks, I did say I wasn't going to give a lot of dead air. I'm trying to just, a lot of commentary teams get to actually know what goes on beforehand, or at least know the action. I do not. So Scott Steiner comes back and kicks Dr. Death in the head. Dr. Death Steve Williams a little shaken up right now, but I am sure he'll be fine as we go on in this match. The hot tag is coming up here. Maybe Scott Steiner trying to reach for Rick. Dr. Death trying to reach for Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And he doesn't get him. But instead, Rick gets tagged in. And, they try to kick each other. He flips him over. Terry Gordy in now for the Miracle Violence connection. They're punching each other, laying each other down with fists. It looks like a Pier 6 brawl. And here comes Dr. Death. Looks like the double team is going to happen now on Rick Steiner. And they call off Gordy. And here you have Steiner. Scott Steiner's on the outside, Terry Bam Bam Gordy on the inside. And I do not know why Randy Anderson is calling it. He's calling something was wrong with the pin. And I don't exactly know what happened there. But we'll see. So it looked like Scott was the legal man. And that's why Rick Steiner couldn't pin Dr. Death. So that was the confusion on that. Here's Dr. Death with the 3-point stance. Oh, and looks like he just gores Steiner in the knee. Still shot on Steiner. Outside, it just looked vicious. Rick Steiner on the inside with Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And Randy's saying, go to your corners. But they're just laying each other out with punches. Steiner holding them out against the rope. Scott Steiner still trying to get back into the ring. Trying as he might. Again, this is June 16, 1992. Clash of the Champions 19. The WCW NWA. And here we go with a press slam. Dr. Death presses Scott Steiner up in the air. And the power slam. Vicious power slam. 1, 2, and no. Scott Steiner gets only 2. Dr. Death gets only 2 on Scott Steiner. And here you have Gordy and Rick Steiner fighting again. Gordy gets knocked out of the ring. Steiner gets sent to the corner again. Steiner having a little bit of trouble there, being told to get in the corner. And it looks like they took out Steiner's knee. Oh, it looks like it's shot. 1, 2, 3. And that is the end of the match. Terry Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams go on in the tournament. Dr. Death Steve Williams, Terry Bam Bam Gordy moving on to I believe the semifinals of the NWA World Tag Team Championship Tournament. The winners will be announced at the Great American Bash coming up here. And that was a chip shot to Scott Steiner's knee. Rick Steiner still complaining and saying a whole bunch of other stuff. He comes in and hits that knee. Does not move out quick, so it looks like just the worst move of all time there. And there you go. 1, 2, 3 on the replay. Dr. Death Steve Williams and Terry Bam Bam Gordy move on in the tournament as they will go for the NWA Championship. And they are going into the semifinals. They will face off against I'm trying to see, but Tony Schiavone's in the way. I think it's Pillman and Liger, and then Koloff and somebody. But that's what's happening. Big shout out to Tony Schiavone tonight as he calls MLW One Shot. Big shout out also to Terry Magnum T.A. Allen, who is rocking it on commentary, as well as I'm going to turn this off right now as the match is done. And you guys have a great rest of your day. I was really excited to call this Steiners match against Terry Gordy and Dr. Steve Williams. One of the matches that I have in memory watching as a kid, as it was one of my favorite from Clash of the Champions. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you real soon.